So you know, they say Jesse James, even Jimmy Hoffa, are debatable to affect their deaths. What's going on, YouTube? You're watching Brian with BB's Vlogs and Adventures. Today I promised you why I think David Crockett, in my opinion, didn't die at the Alamo. So here's the story behind it. See, people of Texas booted the Mexican army out of Bexar County. Here's what now is San Antonio. The general of the Mexican army fought back Santa Ana with his troops and won. A month later, Texas won independence with a cry of "Remember the Alamo" in the Battle of San Jacinto, led by Sam Houston. What do we know about when most of the defenders of the Alamo actually died? We know written history says that William Barret Travis, which is one of my heroes of the Alamo, was killed within minutes of the siege. Jim Bowie died fighting sick in a bed or a cot that was barricaded, and he was found last also. We also know at the end of this there were 7 men captured, speared to their death. But Santa Ana said there would be no quarters given, meaning that everyone must die. Take no prisoners. So keep in mind with the story that I'm actually telling you here, Santa Ana did not want to spare anyone's life. However, we know women, children, and slaves came out of the Alamo. But I think one more person did. I think you know who I'm talking about. So what do we know about David Crockett, the one that fought here at the Alamo? After walking out on Jackson and ending politics, the last words to Jackson was, "To hell with you. I'm going to Texas." So I do believe that Davy was fighting here at the Alamo. He was helping Texas fight for its independence. 189 men fought against a force of almost 2,000 Mexican soldiers. The Mexican army fought hard here at the Alamo. For 13 days with cannonballs, the final assault of the 189 men lost this battle, in which history tells us David Crockett lost his life. We also know that Davy fought in the Creek Indian Wars. He fought under Andrew Jackson, killing many women and children. Andrew Jackson could be as ruthless as the man who called himself the Napoleon of the South, that spared lives of women and children like he did here at the Alamo. Davy even lost his grandparents to the Cherokee Nation in the late 1700s. Jackson wanted to move 5 tribes out of the states, including the Cherokees, and Crockett stood firm against it. Davy was also so sympathetic that it cost him his political career, in which Davy wanted to fight for Texas so he could build a new career in politics for the once was Republic of Texas. So you know, they say Jesse James, even Jimmy Hoffa, are debatable to affect their deaths. My information comes from a newspaper article in the Cincinnati Wing dated April 13th, 1836. This is about 30 to 45 days after the Battle of the Alamo was lost. Labeled, Crockett, not dead yet. What? Crockett, not dead yet? Claiming these injuries along with an update. A severe gash with a tomahawk on the upper part of his forehead, a ball in his left arm. He was immediately taken care of, conveyed to a comfortable lodge where his wounds were dressed, and was attended to his recovery. So here are some interesting facts about Davy Crockett. Davy was not born on a mountaintop, nor did he kill a bear with his bare hands. These are good stories that David told everybody because Davy had wit, charm. He was that kind of person. So only if I can get my hands on the documents that I'm going to talk about here in a little while, these documents would be very compelling. Also, Davy was known to hunt with his friends in Alabama. I believe that Davy Crockett lived down on land in the county of Winston, Alabama. Why Alabama, you may ask? Well, it was the boundary of the creek of the Cherokee Nation. Davy was a great sympathizer of Indians, especially all Native Americans. That's right, Winston County, Alabama. The county of Winston, Alabama opposed the Confederacy, one of the rare places of the South. That's why I believe he died on a land in Alabama on a road called Crockett Drive. So my theory is the man on the $20 bill is the man of just this, Andrew Jackson. Crockett served under Jackson at one time and opposed Andrew Jackson on a huge thing called the Indian Removal Act. I think the Alamo was a perfect cover for Crockett to fake his death, go into hiding just to wait for Andrew Jackson to leave office. Then years later, when Buchanan became president, where Buchanan signed these documents. My crazy theory was, as they all were there on their knees from 1 to 6 were speared, supposedly. Santa Anna also knew that Davy Crockett was inside of the Alamo due to information from one of his commanders that served underneath him, who somehow had intelligence of the Alamo. Around the Alamo, there are very interesting symbols. All around it. But one that usually goes unnoticed if noticed by any, is a stylized AVM that was used from the Freemasons. General Santa Anna was also a Scottish Freemason, and there is plenty of documentation proving that. So what we have here at the Alamo is Freemason versus Freemason. Davy Crockett's plaque inside that Alamo has a Masonic symbol on it. I have not been inside the Alamo on this trip. I wish I would have gotten that. But if you go to the Alamo and you look inside of it, you can find out for your own. This tells me that David Crockett was a Freemason, along with reading his biography. The Masonic sign of distress was used when Santa Anna was captured from Sam Houston, who was also a Freemason. And history tells us why Sam Houston spared Santa Anna's life. It's because Santa Anna was a Freemason also. Remember this, General Santa Anna was hated all across Texas. The sign is made like this. There are many ways a Mason can indicate to other fellow Masons, such as the secret but not so secret of a sign of distress, along with even a secret handshake. See, the documents that support my theory that I think happened to Davy. Let's talk about it. Some of the things we have in our libraries, courthouses, and such are signed documents and letters by David Crockett. His friends called him Davy, but if he ever introduced himself, he always introduced himself as David, not Davy. He also signed all of his documents David Crockett. And David Crockett is the name on the document on the land grant in Winston, Alabama. Keep in mind on this also, when signing a document such as this is done, you're supposed to put your full legal name. The David Crockett that fought here at the Alamo, supposedly died here at the Alamo, didn't have a middle name. And on this docket is signed David Crockett. The land document should be sealed with the President's seal, which James Buchanan sealed it with the President's seal. It should show David Crockett was granted land in 1859 from the President himself, James Buchanan. So the Battle of the Alamo took place February 23rd, 1836, here in San Antonio. 90 days later, the Cincinnati Wing posted that article on April 13th, 1836, which is about 40 to 45 days after the battle ended. I know, this could be some sad news to some of you who especially look up to heroes. I even looked up to heroes at the Alamo. I just love the story behind General William Barret Travis and how he was so disrespected by the men in the Alamo and then rose up as a leader by the end of the Alamo. So I could relate if this was William Barret Travis that we were talking about, but what I couldn't do is ignore facts, especially with compelling evidence. If I choose to talk any more on this subject, I'm going to need to bring that evidence. Otherwise, I think it's time to shut up about it. In conclusion, I believe that Davy Crockett can talk to me in spirit, even show himself in spirit form. He could scratch bite, or even knock something off of a TV stand. The one thing I never heard of, I've never seen a dead person sign their name on a legal document or even on paper. Tell me I'm wrong. This is what the comment section is for. Tell me what you think of my theory. If you don't want to speak out loud, there's a thumbs down button. Go ahead and push it. But if I raise an eyebrow, please like the video. But keep in mind, this is just a theory. I'm not trying to bring politics into all of this or even make a debate about it. If you are to comment something negative about it, I'm just going to thank you for your engagement, like I always do with everyone else that I don't have anything else to say to. It's not because I don't like you, it's because there's just no more to say, because I don't have that evidence in my hand. If I ever do have that evidence or get that evidence, maybe I'll make another video on it. But I have to get that evidence in my hand. Otherwise, it's just a theory. So when I stayed here at this luxurious hotel, the Haunted Hotel, if you haven't watched it, go watch it, because this is a haunted hotel. I've never had anything I've ever experienced ever happen to me like what happened in this hotel. At the end of that video, I clicked my fingers and I transported myself over here thinking that I would stay at the Crockett Hotel. Yet, whenever I came on this trip, little did I know, the Crockett Hotel was occupied, fully occupied. That didn't stop me from coming there, because what I'm able to do is give you information on another haunted hotel that is very interesting, that I'm working on tonight. Stay tuned, and thank you for watching.